Gentleman from California, Mr. LaMalfa, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and for the committee members for allowing me to sit in today. Appreciate it. A very important topic. And Ms. Criswell, thank you for your efforts with FEMA and difficult times. Pivoting off what Mr. Huffman said a while ago with tsunami and earthquake and wildfire and flood, and I think we can add pretty much all that in the area I represent adjacently, and who knows, maybe even volcanic eruptions on it someday with the possibilities. But I wanted to, in terms mostly of wildfire, my area has been devastated several times. Mr. Garamendi mentioned the Camp Fire right in my backyard, Paradise, California, only to be eclipsed by Lahaina and loss of life. Incredible. And the Dixie Fire in 21, 1 million acres, lost the town of Greenville and Canyon Dam. So the Lord's blessed us with much rainfall and snowpack this year, so we're not feeling so much of the size and scope of a wildfire that we've been kind of used to lately. But I wanted to speak with you about some of the practical matters. Again, it's hard to get things out the door quickly enough, and we understand that. And some really great work got done by FEMA, working with Cal OES and the local governments on those other fires, kind of having to build from the ground up on wildfire, since it hadn't been quite the big area that FEMA had to do in the past. So, but we're still having trouble on timing of things like that, and getting, whether it's been the housing, the trailers and things. I want to touch on what's called the North Complex Fire, centered in Butte County, California, a town, Berry Creek, and you might well be familiar with this. The Lake Madrone area of that in the North Complex Fire, very, very, very impacted, including their water delivery system for the community, and they have nothing there. So the water system was wiped out. So the district there, their water district, submitted several public assistance claims, but it took years for the submission, then a denial, then an appeal, a denial again to take place for that assistance. And during that time, what was there of the water district, what the infrastructure was allowed to deteriorate even more. Part of it may well have been salvageable, but we couldn't get the teams out there, we couldn't get the coordination amongst everybody to look at the district and see what it really was going to be and what level. So FEMA didn't meet their required deadlines to respond on that. So a lot of time and effort and maybe even valuable infrastructure was lost. So especially a really small town like that, kind of like Mr. Huffman was talking about, are extremely impacted because they have limited staff, a limited ability to apply for this or ask for grants and things like that. So what I'd ask you is that if you could take, at your level, another look at Lake Madrone, the North Complex Fire in Northern California, and see if you really believe they got a fair shake on that, because they absolutely need the assistance, and so much time went by before that they're just on the short end of it now. So, and then overall, I'd like to see if we could commit the coordination with the state folks more so, like Cal OES in our case, so our applicants can know what the resources can be more quickly and respond to that, so there's less local suffering, basically. So would your office be able to work with mine and with HUD, and as well as California's entities, to find a way to compact these timelines and not have these unnecessary delays?
Absolutely. On the first point, we will certainly take a look at the case that you mentioned. I obviously don't have the specifics on that here, but happy to take a look at that. And we have worked over the last 2 years to really figure out ways that we can be better engaged with our customers and have more, again, of a people-first approach, customer-centric approach to the way that we're delivering our programs. And sometimes it just takes that one-on-one communication. And so you do have my commitment to make sure that we're doing everything we can to work with the communities within your district, but across California and the rest of the country,
okay, I
to better understand that.
On the Madrone one, it took a strong effort by my staff to finally say, everybody come to one meeting and meet on this. And that did happen, but it was quite a long time after the fire and the deterioration. One last one is that we need to look at things that happen post-wildfire that aren't necessarily the fire directly, but have a direct, the mudslides, let me talk about that, okay? Mudslide issues, or you can tie directly back to the cause being the wildfire, so we need to have after effects taken into account too. So do you think we can look at that process so that mudslides directly related to a fire could be part of that conversation?
It's definitely one of the concerns that we always have after a wildfire, and we do have post-wildfire hazard mitigation assessment teams that will go into communities and better understand what the cascading impacts might be and what types of mitigation projects we need to put in place now to help protect those communities. And so you have my commitment to continue working on that, and we're happy to provide your staff a briefing on what that work does.
Thanks very much. And then I'll just mention in 5 seconds, pre-positioning resources for wildfires would be a key component as well going forward. So, Madam Chairman, thank you for the time. I yield back.